first. Until they put me in the dirt. Said I'ma get into it first. Said I'ma get into it.
Welcome in another new episode from the Critics Collective. But this is the 3 count. We talk wrestling. We give you 3 topics. Sometimes you get lucky. We get lucky, and there's a 4th, 5th, or 6th topic. But you never know until you watch. I am the Dad Panther, writer, streamer, content creator, master of none. I am with the not so super fan, Manny. How are you feeling on this super day?
All right.
All right. So we're coming fresh off Night of Champions. Me and Manny were there. So we had to fly back and get back to it. We weren't there. But if we get the opportunity, man, I'll take a trip. I'll spend some Delta miles straight up. Southwest, somebody call us, send us. But we'll go ahead and talk about some of the events of Night of Champions. Now, before we get into that, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and all the other stuff. And we're 14,000 subscribers strong. Thank you very much. That has opened the door, opened the gateway for the WWE shop. And we are proud and happy to be able to have an affiliate link now. So you can check out various wrestling content, whether reviewing documentaries, wrestling recaps, and things of that nature. Click the link. It would really show support. Anything you want to go in here and buy. I'm still trying to buy a WWE Championship belt. Manny has been eyeing some stuff. We might come in with some flashy new gear. But if there's anything that you want to pick up, go in there, man. Have a field day. Make sure you're, letting them know the Critic Collective sent you. So some of the things that we're going to talk about today, this show is a loaded potato. We're going to talk about Jade. We're going to talk about Solo. We're going to talk about 30 women, 1 ring. We're going to talk about the Bloodline 2.0, or do we say 2.5? And that's kind of how this show is going to roll. Now, Manny, for Night of Champions, we'll come back later, hopefully with Corey, and talk detail, maybe match by match. But as a whole, did you enjoy Night of Champions, most recent in Saudi Arabia?
It's kind of hot and cold with me with Night of Champion. I did enjoy a few matches in this one as it goes. But overall, I was kind of in the middle with Night of Champion this year. I did get some of the people I wanted to win their match. But other than that, I was like in the middle with that.
Okay, the middle. I would say that I was less than the middle. I was not impressed by Night of Champion. One of the things that helps me kind of get into the mood of it is, it's either you're going to give me good storyline or good matches. I'll be blessed if I get both. And then the sprinkle on top that goes with it, like a fine wine or a nice little brandy, whatever your libations are, is the feel of the crowd. It makes me think of when they went overseas. They've been to Mexico, they've done Puerto Rico, they've done London and stuff like that. And hear those crowds compared to the U.S. crowd, it's like they're basically another match, another wrestler that's right there. And I just didn't feel it for that. So we'll talk about that later, but that's how we felt about Night of Champions. So one of the things that we're going to talk about that happened during Night of Champions was the crowning of the Queen of the Ring, Jade. Look how he's smiling, man. He's smiling already. Listen, we went through we went through this in the back. Like, okay, so before she wins King of the Ring, she does her signature move and she licks another woman's face. Manny, how did you feel about that? We know how you feel about the baby oil. You know how you feel about the promos, the outfit. She's always looking good, like she's in the WWE shop. But how did you feel about her winning the Queen of the Ring?
So, I've been talking about it. I think it's good as far as the storyline goes, where between her, Naomi, and Bianca. I think that's one way to interject her between Naomi and Bianca. So now, even though she still has some ring work to work on, I think she has that presence. So, but other than that, I was rooting for her to win the Queen of the Ring, and I really think that's gonna interject, like make the story between her and Bianca and Naomi more interesting. And if Naomi wins the belt, I'm thinking she's probably if Naomi cash in, she's probably gonna go after Naomi to get that belt. But my only concern is how is WWE gonna book her as a champion now? Queen of the Ring, that's easy, but as a champion, how they're gonna book her, because I don't think they have been like doing much with her as far as booking, but it's just a present, you know.
Yeah, I don't think I would crown her until either Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, something big. It seems like everything they do with her is big. I think, like you said before, it does go with the storyline with Bianca and with Naomi, and maybe there may be another woman that's gonna be right there in the mix of a run. But I think the key to Jade is, and yeah, she does have the look, the image. She's got to do some work on her mic. Clearly, we'll talk about how this match ended, but her being a heel, it reminds me just like Cody. And again, watching All Elite Wrestling, she is better as a heel because
No,
as a
wait.
heel, you don't care that the mic skill isn't there. You don't care that the in ring has some botches in it. Because Nia Jax, when you think about it, it just fits her presence. So what? She's not running around and she's not fast. So what? Her movesets might be more limited for whatever the reason is, but she's still a fucking powerhouse. She's still a champion. She's still one queen of the ring. And we're talking about Nia. But I think that's the best booking for her, similar to Gunther. Make
No,
her work.
I think as a heel, especially the way she presents herself, you know, like I'm the shit, it would work for Jay. You know, it would work. Like I'm on, like you don't approach me. I'm the shit, VIP status. As a heel, I feel that it will work best for her, especially in the WWE universe. It would work way better for her. You know, whereas in AEW she had like a manager and other people doing most of the talking for her,
Mhm.
and her match weren't that long. But I think in WWE as a heel, you know, it would work. The whole diva stance, her walking in, all greased up and shit. Damn.
Oh my God. He's all like, she's my queen to be. We know how you feel about it. Like, but even with Jade, honestly, I wouldn't have any problems with her having a manager and doing what All Elite was doing. Like, if you make Jade, remember when you had the Master Lock challenge? Chris Masters would have these quick matches for the most part, and it kept you going. Bring back the Master Lock challenge. Call it something else. I'm not a fan of that big setup move she does. I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on, and if you don't have the right opponent to do it, you're going to put up a situation of botch. But bring back that Master Lock challenge. Let her, do it too long and slam their face down. The ref is upset, and just let her be that heel, like you said before. Let her show that nightlife of stepping out of a limousine, woo, and hair all done and new outfits and contacts. You can't do this, baby. You can't keep up this. So I think that's going to be something to be seen. But what also is to be seen, if you check out an episode that we did recently, we talked about our favorite WWE Championship belts. I said I wanted the Wing Eagle, the OG one, not the big blue, not anything like that, but basically, whether you put it out in the universe, you were saying that the United States Championship was your favorite belt. Not only did you say that, you disrespectfully, I just want to say that straight up, you disrespectfully acknowledged Solo as your tribal leader, you son of a bitch. And it's only one, baby. It's Roman Reigns. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that Solo wins his first WWE Championship. Obviously, he's been proven as a winner in NXT, but he's on the main roster, and he wins gold. He beats Jacob. What did you think about the match and kind of what played out in this match?
So, acknowledge the tribal chief Solo. One thing, but I enjoyed his match with Jacob, and you can see Solo in ring work is up there. You know, when he slammed Jacob, he's doing the whole Jacob shake thing. That enjoy. He has that presence. He knows how to work the mic, and it's funny coming from him being the enforcer to Roman, always being the quiet, stoic one, and now like his mic work and some of the jokes he be making. So it's different. And I think as a champion, he's gonna make a great champion. Him and Jacob were the best people to make I think United States champion, because even though LA Knight, I like him, I don't think he was doing much with the belt. And I think Solo with the belt, especially how he's been showing how he's good with the mic work, I think he's gonna do great. Even after you know how they sit down.
Yes.
And he was like,
with the interview?
Yeah,
Yeet.
he was making fun of the crowd. Like,
yeah,
that's the type of guy I like, you know. But
And that's crazy that you're saying that, because yeah, he was the enforcer with the hoodie on, and now it just doesn't make sense because this was this guy. Like you talked about it before. You said he's the funniest of the family, and yeah, I agree. Similar to The Rock, I think he's going to be that guy that you're going to see carry the belt, give some crazy fucking promos, and just get nuclear heat. And I think it's going to be to the point like Triple H, where it's like you're going to dislike liking him or like disliking him, either or. What you said about LA Knight, it reminded me of Austin Theories. It's like both of them, I felt like Austin and LA were good champions, had the look, great on the mic, but it just, there wasn't any booking. There was no real story. So unfortunately, I think you have to kind of take the belt off and go a different direction. But I would love to see those in the mix down the road before. So did you think it was a good match, a good ending as far as the finish on this match, or you were just consumed by the fact that you're a tribal leader?
well, I I think it was a good ending. We got our or how they call him, the real tribal chief came back, Tonga Loa. That's what
Goat
they
is that
say.
they call him? Yeah.
Yeah, he had a couple botches, but I think for some reason, even with those botches, he got over with the crowd.
Yeah.
He got a pop as soon as he showed up. But Tonga Loa is back, and you also have the debut of Hikuleo, or
what did Michael Cole call him? Because I felt like Michael Cole was like, it's the brother of Tonga. Tonga's brother.
Tala Tonga. So now you have another member. I think even Tama Tonga went online and typed some cryptic message. I forgot what it was, but Tama Tonga might be returning soon. So I don't know what they're gonna do with JC, because he's not. I don't think he's Samoan.
Mateo, I don't know what they're really doing, what they're planning. But then again, you have the conversation of Sami Zayn being in it, and CM Punk has helped out. There's been some people that had the Paul Heyman, the Wise Man. You've had some people, even online, people are like, yo, how many fucking Samoans are they? Yeah. Respectfully. And I was like, there's a whole island. Like, Google it. Like, there's a lot. Like, in the history of the WWE and just wrestling professionally in indie, their bloodline is just almost, I want to say this, it's unmatched. I can't think of another bloodline that just influenced wrestling the way that the Samoans have over the years. Yokozuna, Manga, who else is the other? Rikishi. There are just so many, and those are just the ones that we know of. If you really broke it down, there's some where they share that lineage, and I don't know. So we'll see. We'll talk about that later, and maybe the final boss. Now, one of the other things that I thought was interesting, and you mentioned it, you said, hey, there was some pops, there was some sounds. I mentioned it earlier when I said, hey, the crowd just wasn't bringing it. It just wasn't bringing it. So the reason why I say that to say this: they're going to come back in January, and we're just going to talk about the elephant in the room. Not even the elephant in the room, the elephant in the desert, respectfully. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble. Okay, January 2026, the Royal Rumble is coming back to Saudi Arabia. All right. Now, this is going to be the first time. This is a double loaded conversation right here. This is the first time that this match will be an international match, meaning it is leaving North America. It is leaving North America. It's going out there to the desert. And they're going to get an opportunity to run with this and make this their pay-per-view and represent it. But the woman got no pop. The women got no pop. Even on Saturday night or Friday night SmackDown, they told Naomi, disrespectfully, to shut the fuck up. And they said it with their whole chest. They weren't saying it like Dom, where it's like, boo, nuclear hit. They said that it felt personal. So my question to you, the first one we'll go with is, how do you feel about 30 women for a Royal Rumble when it seems like they really just don't care to see women wrestle? We already know that they do the full bodysuits. Some people dressed in black for the bodysuits. I think there was a joke online saying, if you want to know what the Royal Rumble is going to look like, look at those collab episodes of the Power Rangers where they're just fighting. See, you respectfully, you lost. I got you. So they're saying, hey, look, that's how it's going to look. And it's just going to be crickets. At Night of Champions, maybe I was wrong, but I felt like it was boys and it was men in the arena. I didn't see any women in attendance. So what do you think is going to happen when you get a full on spectacle, which is the Royal Rumble, and it's all women?
it would be because if you've watched a couple of the women's like matches lately, especially the Royal Rumble, they put on a show, and if you have Io Sky in that, you have Rhea Ripley, you have
Bianca,
you have these girls
Bailey.
in there. And I'm sure Bianca is gonna make a return. Royal Rumble, she's probably gonna be healed up by then,
I see what you said there. I don't think you said it. I don't think you heal that way, but I was like, both. Could be both. Well,
call her thickness. But sometimes the women matches are especially when it's like those big matches like that, they put a better show than the men's matches. And if you have the Saudi crowd and they react like that, I think it's going to be a waste of a match. I know a reason again they're going to Saudi because they put a bank, for these matches. So that's one reason, and can't stop. At the end of the day, everybody's going to get paid in the WWE, but it just it as a fan, it just sucks. You see somebody put in an incredible show and it's just crickets. I'm hoping it's not like that because sometimes even when Rhea Ripley shows up, she gets a pop, or Bianca. I've seen Bianca get a pop from the Saudi crowd. So it might be different, or we'll see what happens. Because sometimes the same Saudi crowd, they react to what the fan. So some fan like us will go online, like we're talking about now, and talk about how they treated the women, and they'll go back and you see it's a whole different, scenario. So sometimes they'll
yeah, but real talk, we've been there multiple times. Crown Jewels, like we've been out there. We've been out there. Like we've been out there. I think before the 10-year deal, because I think it's a 10-year deal with Saudi Arabia. You got TKO. They're a big business. And so they, like you said before, they're in the business of making money. So if they're gonna pay to have them come over, that's fine. And they're paying big bucks because I just feel like I don't see anything changing. I don't see them pumping sounds into the arena. That's like the conversation of Sami Zayn losing. People are like, there's no way he's gonna lose over there. He's not gonna lose over there.
No, and I think that's the only reason they did the Karrion Kross match with him was to appease the fan over here, and add it in a way add Sami Zayn to appease the fans over there.
I think so. You're right, because Kross hasn't done a match since, I don't know, it was 2022 was the last pay-per-view, which I think that was the Saudi Arabia one too, Crown Jewel. So he just and that's a different conversation with Karrion Kross, and Scarlett. But the other part I would say about the Royal Rumble situation is this is again the first time they're not going to be in North America. How do you feel about them taking something like the Royal Rumble, not a pay-per-view that was made for them, as far as a themed one, and that's what I mean, like Crown Jewel or Night of Champions, not necessarily Night of Champions, but you get what I'm saying, somewhere you can place it and it doesn't have the history that maybe a SummerSlam, a Royal Rumble, Survivor Series have. What do you feel about it going somewhere else?
I don't know how I feel about South. I know it's been in Puerto Rico, right?
For the Royal Rumble?
Yeah. Has it? I think so.
I don't know. Let us know in the comments. I don't think so.
But
because I'm thinking Bad Bunny, and I don't think, maybe it was. Somebody will tell us.
But as far as the Saudi crowd, I'm not too sure. Again, just like the whole match, I'm like hot and cold when it comes to that, because I'm not too sure if it's gonna. It might be different. It might get a pop, might not, but I'm not sure. I will have to see how. It's something I will have to see for myself before I. But
we can't see. We can't do.
When we get there. The thing is, I would have to.
No, that's like planning a trip with somebody. You got, you booed up. You don't plan a trip. You got all fresh. You like, this gonna happen. This gonna happen. And you do your trip, and you get to the end, and she like, no, we should have thought this through. What you're thinking in your head, you expect it to happen. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. We can't wait until January next year. Get there, get our tickets, get the match line up, and then boo or nothing, and be like, oh. Well, we didn't know it was going to happen this way. I'm just going to keep it real. This feels weird to me that they would do this because Royal Rumble, much like WrestleMania, is just stamped to be US. That's just what it is. Like, even if I lived in a different country, I just would have it in my head through the history of what this league has presented in wrestling, is that the WrestleManias and the Royal Rumbles, that's North America, that's the US, even Canada. I'm like, hey, all right, Canada, they've been in there, like, okay, cool. And that's just my take on it. It's like, hey, if you're gonna do Survivor Series, you're gonna do Bad Blood, you're gonna do an NXT, how, whatever it is you're gonna do in other countries, cool. But like some of these, I don't know. And the best example I give you is picture the Super Bowl, picture the NBA Finals. We know that they do matches and games in other countries. The NFL goes to London all the time. NFL goes to Mexico. The NBA will sometimes go to Europe and do stuff. Like, we get it. They'll go around and do stuff. But how would you feel if the finals, the winner of the championship, was done in Rome? How would you feel like if the Super Bowl, Kendrick Lamar performs, and then you're like, wow, we crowned the Miami Dolphins the champions, but we did it in another country. And that's my thing about it.
All right, so I looked up. It has not been at Puerto Rico, but the first one was in Canada in 1988.
I'm cool with that.
The second one was in Texas. The third one was in Orlando. The fourth one was in Miami.
305,
the fifth one, Albany, New York. 6, Sacramento, California, Rhode Island.
So they've been around the US and Canada. And that's just the history of it. I believe the same thing you'll find if you looked at WrestleMania. So that my thing to you before we, switch it back up is, does it bother you to take a keystone pay-per-view like WrestleMania, like Royal Rumble, and take it somewhere else? Now, the mayor of London asked Triple H, hey, Triple H, we want to get a big pay-per-view too. We would love to have WrestleMania. And so you're going to have countries that would love to have this. I think it'll be really cool to see Japan have one. But just like, how would it feel? It's like, So you cool with it? Like if it went to any country, it doesn't matter if it was a Royal Rumble or WrestleMania next year. Are you cool with that?
Again, it's the 39th Royal Rumble. It's fine. But if it's like the 40th one, I would say something like the 40th Royal Rumble should be in the state. Something, because that would probably mark as like a 48th anniversary Royal Rumble. I think it should be in the state. But if it's like something like in the numbers in between, they could do other countries.
Okay. No, that makes sense. I thought of that too. I was like, hey, it's number 3, 2, go around and see some stuff. And I get the business stuff, and I get that they'll get an amazing experience. Like I said, listening to some of these crowds overseas, and you get a much bigger pay-per-view. And I think some of these countries will show out, and they will show, hey, listen, this is why maybe you shouldn't go to Chicago. You shouldn't go to some of these locations where the pop isn't there and the crowd just seems like they're just watching TV. So I don't know. That's interesting. So the other thing that we'll move on to is the Bloodline, right? The Bloodline. And for the Bloodline, we're going to put up the right Bloodline. The Bloodline here is, it's in a special and interesting spot. And the reason why I say that is Solo wins. You have some new members. You can still have some members coming back for that Bloodline. We like to say the 2.0 Bloodline, the new Bloodline versus the old Bloodline. But now it's like 2.5, because now Solo has broken off from Jacob, and we don't know what's going to happen with Jacob. But you still have Roman Reigns in the mix, okay? You still have Solo. You still have the Usos in the mix, as they're rumored to go back for the championship belts and get back into that running. How do you feel about the Bloodline storyline, or the Bloodline in general, that's kind of floating around right now?
I think after Roman Reigns won his match against Solo, got his what's it called, Hikalea, back. They kind of, I feel like they, in a way, they slowed down with the Bloodline storyline. But with the whole now beef with Solo and Jacob, I think it'll pick back up. So now you have the Tonga Loa, Tala Tonga. Then you possibly have Tama Tonga coming back. Then you have Jacob, who's teaming up with Jimmy Uso, who I feel deserve a belt. You know, Solo gotten a belt, Jay gotten a belt, except for Jimmy. He's like the only member of the original Bloodline that still hasn't gotten a single championship yet. And out of all of them, I think he's probably the better at the with the mic. You know, separate conversation. But I feel like there's gonna be probably a feud again, and it's gonna be Jimmy. Most likely, Jay might come back, and Jacob. Now you have Solo with his Bloodline member. So there you have a faction versus faction, which, and remember, you still have Seth Rollins' whole situation going on with Paul Heyman, who betrayed Roman Reigns. So you might have like a triple faction thing might happen. WWE might not go right down, or they'll still try to do Bloodline versus Bloodline situation. Now you have Jay, Jacob, Jimmy versus Solo Sikoa with his faction.
Okay. No, I mean, to me, what I was always thinking when the feud between Cody and Roman was kind of burning off, and we got some great storylines and matches leading up to those, that WrestleMania, was I wanted like new Bloodline versus old Bloodline. I didn't want a bunch of mini factions, because if you watch WCW, you saw what happened with the NWO and how that broke off, and how, it kind of went the wrong way in most people's eyes. But I like the idea of, at some point, Roman having to lead all of this against maybe the final boss, The Rock, or against a bigger threat, whether it's Seth, whether it's something like The Shield, whether it's, it would have been crazy had it been Vince McMahon and the corporation. I think that would have been cool to watch the Bloodline come together much like Marvel's Avengers. So with that being said, we end up talking offline, and the conversation was, there are some other members that maybe are not necessarily in the WWE, or they're in the WWE, that we could possibly see in the Bloodline, and it would grab our attention. Like, so the first name I want to throw out is, I'm going to throw out Nia. I think she's a force to reckon with. I've talked about her multiple times on the program. I love her. She's a hell of a heel, hell of a woman. I'm not gonna lie. I would need a stepladder for that, but I'm just saying respectfully. I would respectfully, I would love to see her in the Bloodline, because she is a part of the Bloodline, and she carries that dominance of, hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm gonna take, and you love her as a heel, but you still love her as a face. I'm watching her on IG and stuff like that, and her character, since coming back and being in full action, I have really loved what she's put out and what she's done. So how do you feel about Nia being a part of the Bloodline story, maybe in the near future?
All right. I don't want to go there, but one thing with, if it was Shawn Michaels doing the booking, I think it would have worked with her, because I think Triple H is not that good sometimes with booking the women. I would love a possibility of like like a couple women joining the Bloodline, which would help with the some way. But her and her mic skills is great, like you said. As a heel, she's great as a heel. I think she makes a great heel, and she has gotten way better with her ring work. I would love to see her join the Bloodline. See how I think she will put a little more presence to the Bloodline, especially when it comes to like mic work and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think also the conversation of the Bloodline is full dominance, and I feel like they're missing the angle of dominant woman. And they've been a lot of Samoan women in the history of the WWE. And why not put that stamp and say, hey, look, a part of the Bloodline, we also have the WWE Women's Championship. You saw what happened with the faction that Rhea was with. They owned all the belts, including the Women's Championship. And I felt like the Bloodline, whether new or old, has missed that opportunity. Now, you said there's other people you would like to see. What about Mrs. Money in the Bank?
Again, it's all in the booking, you know how they do
But
it.
let's say the booking was exactly how we want it, whether how you want it, how I want it, how the people at home wanted, the people who are subscribed to the Critics Collector watching the 3 count. Regardless, it's perfect. Would you be interested in Naomi being a part of the bloodline? Like
No, I
behind
would.
closed doors, she's obviously in the bloodline. She's married to one of the Usos. She is a part of the bloodline. She's in the family.
So, uh, her,
Mhm.
Naomi, and I mean, sorry, her and Nia in the same team
Mhm.
as heel and the bloodline. Beautiful.
Tag team woman gold right there.
Not even just have her champion and one. It I think it's just gold right there.
Mhm.
This heel bloodline gold, and the switch that she's recently made from babyface to heel
Mhm.
has been going great for her.
Yes.
And like you brought up before, the crowd was telling her to shut the fuck up. Like some of her mic work, and I wish she would have responded, but I know
Ah,
she in Saudi.
yeah, and man, had she been in like Miami, Florida, she would have put
Yeah,
somebody on
like
blast.
last time she told her, "Ah, you heard me, bitch."
Yeah,
Like
I
now
was about to say, I was like, she'd have been like, "Hey, listen here, you bitch in the front row. You can't be like me, bitch. You can't be like me. You better get on a fucking treadmill. You better burn that shit out."
yeah, I know, like that's the type of, but I know it's Saudi. You got to be careful.
Gotta be.
You guys,
I won't say careful because I feel like a lot of people are like, there's something negative over there. You got to be careful. I just look at it as like, listen, this is this country's way of life. When you go to someone's home, you respect someone's home, and this is what you do. If you don't like how this person treats their home, then don't go to their house. And in the wrestling term, don't watch the pay-per-view. Don't watch the Raw. Don't watch the SmackDown. Just skip it. Just say, hey, look, this isn't for you. Because be honest, let's be real. There's been wrestlers that have skipped it. They don't make the trip. There's some wrestlers that we know that make the trip because they know they're going to get a little check on the end. Whatever the case is, that's their thing. But I just look at it as, hey, look, this is their house. This is their rules. Respect their rules. If you don't like it, do something else. Now, with Naomi being a part of the bloodline, I would really enjoy that. But there's some other people that we thought, and they could play a role. One of them, Lance. Lance, who I believe I think he's related to Rikishi.
yeah. So I know Lince right now. He until 20 like last year he signed with WWE,
Okay.
and there's been pictures of him shaking hand with Shawn Michael. He was supposed to show up on NXT for a while, Okay, he still have that young baby face type of situation going on.
Mhm.
But I know because of injury, he's
Mm.
still at the performance center. And I haven't heard much about him in a while.
Okay.
So they were planning on making his debut like in May, actually,
Yeah, I think I heard something like that. Yeah.
of this year, but it went quiet. And look, and Tonga made the debut instead of him.
Yeah,
So
I think Rikishi mentioned it on the podcast. He was like, "Hey, I got a big surprise. This was going to happen." And a lot of people were focusing on this, and it didn't go that way. And so, yeah.
so maybe he's still in like injury. If he's injury prone, I don't think WWE is gonna put too much effort in him.
Maybe an initial pop, and then after that, kind of
Yeah.
like mid card, and just
And my other thing is, I don't want, like you brought up earlier, the NWA, the NWO, sorry.
Mhm.
I don't want him to oversaturate, with too much like Samoan as far as the bloodline members. Because
Okay.
now you have to, everybody, it's like, are they gonna put, or are they just gonna be what's the word, cannon father, just
Oh
standing
yeah.
over there and not do anything with those guys, or are they gonna actually have some type of pop with the crowd?
Well,
Like
what I
even
was well, listen, sorry to cut you off. What I was thinking when I played WWE 2K, and I created my own little universe, how I did it was the faction wasn't limited to SmackDown or Raw. It was also NXT. So for me, I had certain wrestlers who were champions or a threat on NXT, and they would just cross over, and it would just like, you never know, Roman may show up to help them keep the tag team belts on the NXT as you rotate and work some stuff out. Or, you know, they won the championship there, but they dropped the belts because now they're going to make it to the big roster and do something like that. So that, to me, that's the best way to smooth it out, because yes, it's a stable that we haven't had in a long time that is this big. It's like, how do you do it where you don't murk it up? Now, one of the other people that we talked about was another newcomer who's, you know, currently right now in the Indies. Is I believe the son of Umaga, still uses the spike and everything, very agile, off the ropes and everything like Jacob. What's your thoughts on Zella? Batu.
I remember Rikishi said he still needs some work himself in the ring work.
Yes.
I've seen some of his matches, like when he tag team with Jacob, and like he has some great, you know, moveset as far as the ring, and they're pretty agile, you know, especially for big dudes like them. Mic work, compared to Jacob, I don't know how he is with the mic work, but ring wise, he's incredible. You know, I've seen him like make a few YouTube video there, like he looks funny, like he could, you know. He has that presence, that menacing presence, and oh man, if like I know it would look great, him showing up, helping Jacob. Now you have those two together, that would be a menacing team. Now you would have a faction like him, Jacob, Jimmy, Jay versus Solo and his crew. Now that's a fight I want to see now. You know, that's a fatal 4-way that, you know, that could happen in a pay-per-view, you know, that could lead up to a big match. These four right there. But again, even with them still being quiet with Lince might still show up, and now you have another team for, you know. So I'm still waiting on that, Lince.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, he has the potential. I've seen stuff in ring. I haven't seen any mic stuff or like that. I think he's had some out of the ring issues as he's been working on stuff. But I mean, a spitting image of his dad. His move set is similar to his dad. Like, again, you're looking at people who have the ability to move faster than what they look like. Like we talk about Braun and Brock Lesnar being able to pull that fucking shooting star splash off every now and then. Kurt Angle, certain ones. So it's a talent to be able to do that. Now, whether or not he lines up the WWE, I don't know. Now, one of the things he does do, and he recently did it again, is if he's on social media, he is going to mention in a fourth wall. He is kayfabe he's not, and again, I think that's also goes with him being young, and we talked about that before. Because like if Roman gets jumped on Friday at SmackDown, he tweets about it and says, Roman, give me a call. Well, he did the same thing recently after Night of Champions. After Jacob lost, he sends a little phone emoji and says, hey, I can only assume he's saying, hey, give us a call. Give me a call. I got you, and let's get this. And I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that's how it works for the WWE and TKO. So that's kind of how that goes. Now, the last one I'll mention, I've been watching them on it's not even W, it's WOW. It's WOW, Women of Wrestling. I think they record in LA. I think you have one of the CEOs. I don't know if it's Mrs. Buss who funds this and sets this up. I think you also have CM Punk's wife, AJ, as a part of the commentary and one of the bookers as far as the match goes. I really enjoy watching this show and this program, how it is. But what about these two ladies here? Now, I believe their name was the Tonga twins. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but their presence coming to the ring was very similar to the Usos, especially the younger Usos that came out, where they wear a lot of these gears, different colors, different matches. They come out and respectfully do the war chant, or if I'm saying that politically correct, but they would do these chants in the ring or on their way out. Their mic presence was good. It would in the ring. My goodness, they were. I enjoyed them in the ring. Could they clean up some stuff? Yes, but based off of what they had, how they were presented, I thought it was really good for what I saw on Wild Wrestling. I would love to see these two ladies called up and be a part of the WWE. Now, the last I heard about them is that their contract ended with WOW, and they were in the Performing Center with the WWE. How would you feel to see these two freshen up the women's roster?
I believe They're still at the Performance Center for
Oh, okay.
WWE. I think last year, July, I think they signed with WWE. So they're
Okay.
probably still working at the Performance Center.
All right, it's almost a year now. Okay.
Yeah. So again, WWE is still holding on to these young talent. So I'm hoping to see them soon because they do have great ring work themselves together.
Mhm.
And now with the women NXT, their tag team championship, they haven't been doing much.
Mhm.
Even in the main
I agree.
roster, they haven't been doing much. And I think these two added to the roster, especially again with their moveset, they could do great, you know? But I know I brought it up many times, it's the booking, you know. Shawn Michael is great when it comes to booking women. But Triple H, for some reason, when it comes to tag team, especially the women tag team, he doesn't do much work. But if you watch NXT lately, the women matches, like I would probably say that's probably the best division right now in the WWE and NXT. And if they go to NXT, I think they'll do great under Shawn Michaels' tutelage. I'm just worried if they go to the main roster, they'll probably be put in the back. And my other worry again, if they go and join a faction, or they're just gonna be a cannon fodder, where
Yeah,
they
yeah.
could do great again. If you've seen them in the ring, they're great. So
No, I
it
think
just
to me, I think it's interesting because like we ran into this before, like are the shows too long, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, 3-4 hours, how are you looking at it? Pay-per-views, should they all start having 2 nights now? Like it's just there's a lot of wrestling out there and you're trying to showcase it all. You're trying to make the fans happy, the shareholders happy, and everybody in between. Like I said, I just care about good wrestling. I care about good storylines. Like I said, I love to get both, but give me one or the other. Like I said, I don't go into the whole booking of whether it's Triple H or Shawn Michaels. I feel like there's a team of people, writers and stuff, that kind of do some stuff, and certain people get credit maybe more than they should, or not even enough. And I think that however they sprinkle the talent in for the Bloodline story, as long as it continues the Bloodline story that I believe needs to happen with Roman and Jay and Jimmy, with Roman and Seth, that's a big storyline that has to be closed. Like he had the choice to win the championship, keep the streak going against Cody, but the cinema that the writers, Triple H, whoever was cooking, was that Roman hates Seth so fucking much, so much. He had to go for Seth, and it cost him everything. And so, go for it.
so he brought cinema, right?
Cinema.
And it just reminded me of that one promo when Roman he met with Cody at that football field. That was
Yes. Oh my
like
gosh, the 50-yard line. I think it was Central Florida,
yeah,
University of Central Florida, where I think Roman went and
like
was this is
I
my
wish
town, this is
it's
my
like
stadium.
WWE stopped doing that, man. I love those promos like that, man.
I don't know
And
what
with
even
the
the camera angles. Remember the camera angles they were doing after they switched
yeah,
up the guy that was cutting scenes like they had the camera guy that was going like this every 5 seconds. He was just doing this. You were watching wrestling like, what the heck's going on? What are we doing? And so that was a minute. And then we switched to the one where we had Jay Uso was leaving and he hands it to Sami Zayn at the front door. And Sammy comes out and you get the whole walk of him going through security, him saying hi to everybody, him coming out to his music out there in the fans. It was uncut. It was one
it was
camera
like at
angle,
the Georgia Tech Stadium.
something, and it was so like you felt that. And then when they were doing the pay-per-views, they were doing like fucking. It looked like 10K resolution
Yeah,
when they
they
were
put
almost
work
like a
into
video
it.
game. They put, and I'm like, man, this is something. So I would
So
love to see it get back to it.
one thing like I know about WWE when it
Mhm,
comes to, and I haven't seen that lately a lot.
mhm.
When it comes to promo, back in the days, like The Rock versus Stone Cold with the Limp Bizkit in the background, that type of promo when they used to do that. They have some recently, but when it comes to promo and the fucking fireworks, there's
Mhm.
nobody like
It's a spectacle.
it's a
One of the
spectacle.
world's
But
greatest shows on earth. Yeah.
I haven't seen that lately. But
I don't know. Like I said, it's a new company. It takes a minute to figure stuff out and smooth it out. And maybe this is how the new company does it. But yeah, I do agree. It was a different time to be in the late 90s, early 2000s. Even the video game SmackDown versus Raw and 2K, like they would be fighting in a hotel. And you're like, what is this? This is just a trailer for a video game. This is just a commercial for a video game.
But
it doesn't matter what you want to do.
Yeah, they had those liners. Even Roman Reigns at the end of that promo, and Cody's about to walk. He cuts in front of him. You ain't my way. And he paused a little bit in life. Come on, man. Sit him up. Give him the Oscar, man. Give him the fucking Oscar.
And he's and speaking of Oscar, it seems like Roman Reigns is gonna play what, Baraka?
No, he's gonna play
who's he playing? It's somebody in Street Fighter. I don't know if they're gonna keep his same gimmick of head of the table with everything going on, but yeah, you know, Roman, much like The Rock and John Cena, is doing some big things in Hollywood. So I think that also changes the Bloodline stuff. But yeah, I think recently they just revealed what could be the cast for a new Street Fighter live action. Akuma. Don't know who that is, but I did see the image, and it was a clean image. It was a clean image. So that's going to be something. But like I said before, I'm just here for the cinema. I'm here for the good looks and the good wrestling at this point. So I don't know what you're trying to find the image for it. That's what it looked like you were trying to do, and I was like,
I was trying to, so I could show the crowd real quick.
Okay, okay.
Knowing Roman, like, I don't know which version of Akuma they're gonna have him come in as, but Roman Reigns, he has that stature. So I wish they would cast more WWE characters. I mean, and Street Fighters.
I wouldn't say just Street Fighter, just in anything. Like sometimes I watch a movie or a show, especially on Disney or CW or something, and it's like a brawl or something. I'm like, I remember watching Smallville and stuff and saying, oh shoot, that's blah blah blah. That's this wrestler. That's like a Mandalorian. To be like, that's Sasha. You know, so it'd be cool to, you know, sprinkle that in there and kind of give these little cameos, even if they are stuntman or bouncer number 7. I think we would enjoy seeing it from time to time. I mean, other than that, we'll get into the end of the show. But as we get to the end of the show and he looks for this image, I just want to say, hit the subscribe button, like, follow, share, all that other good stuff. And like he found it, you can find so much in the WWE shop. Shameless plug, WWE shop. We're working together. We got an affiliate link in there. So, you know, 14,000 subscribers. That's amazing. Thank you guys very much. Continue to show support. Show up to the WWE shop. Check it out. See if there's something you're looking for. I'm looking for a championship belt. I'm probably looking at that Ron Cena shirt. I'm about to bring that home. It doesn't ship until January. He's probably going to go for the championship belt of the U.S. championship belt and a Solo shirt, you motherfucker. He's probably going to, you son of a bitch, crummy ass shirt. But yeah, look out there and see and gift someone a shirt or whatnot. So, you know, we'll see. But this is who he's referring to, not those two. But this is who. Oh, okay. I see it. I don't get me wrong. I see it. I'm one of the ones that feel like certain video games, it's hard to make it live action. And Street Fighter to me feels like one of those. I feel like because you have to get the look down, the move set, it's got to be a storyline that goes into it. And above all, the fighting must be, I was going to say intense, but I felt like I should have went with Street because it's called Street Fighter. But yeah, it looks cool.
Oh man, you said we were at 14,000, right?
Yeah, 14,000. We should have hit 14,000 right before we went.
15.
Are we really? Get the fuck out of here. That's wild.
Yeah, Eddie.
No, we're not. Oh, that's wild. Yeah, we just dropped 2 new videos. Yeah, we're moving, man. We're out here moving. We're trying to give you guys content for a little bit of everything from anime to wrestling. We do want to dabble in like music and entertainment news and sports and other stuff that we like to jibber jabber in. But if you think of something, let us know. We may be able to do it. Also, if you think you want to, you know, collab and do some stuff, join the team, you know, hit us up. Hit us up in the comments in the chat. But yeah, that's really it. That's the end of the show. I mean, at the end of the day, you could have been anywhere in the world and you chose to be here. We greatly appreciate it. Manny, the not so super fan, me, the Dad Panther. Until next time.
And don't forget to acknowledge the real tribal chief.
We never that. It's only one. It's Roman Reigns. If Roman was here right now, he wouldn't stand here for that. You wouldn't have the balls to even say that. He would merely just point at you and say, I own you. And I own that camera. And you see this over here? That's me. Those are my fans. It's a clean fucking promo. It's since suffering succotash to get to this. That's why he's the fucking GOAT. That's why it's the GOAT 1316. He's the fucking GOAT. But anyways, until next time, kalika-lika-low.
Solo Sikoa.
You son of a bitch. No, it's not. I'm telling you right now, we haven't hit that button yet. Listen, there's only one tribal chief.
I'll
okay.
Try to get that in.
You're not, because I'm not editing. It's Lingo that's editing. But he'll have to figure out when we wrap this motherfucker up. But I'm telling you right now, the islands of relevance, it's not Solo. It's not Solo at all. All right. So just go to the WWE shop, get yourself a shirt. Don't get a Solo one. Get a Ron Killing shirt, or maybe you know what? Just get a Roman Reigns shirt. Get a Roman Reigns shirt.
Said I'ma get into it first. Until they put me in the dirt. Said I'ma get into it first. Said I'ma get into it.